Hello Craft, this is Sinan with the WoW Dungeon, and in this video I am bringing you an update in my arena footage, or in my arena gameplay. In my last video I mentioned that I had hit a plateau. Well, I guess now that I've been thinking about it more, it's not so much as a plateau, it's just a number thing that I've been hitting and I just can't seem to get past, which I'd like to. Overview, I'm starting to realize that I'm dominating the 17 to 1800 bracket, just absolutely demolishing them. It's really easy games for me. I did some YOLO with no voice games where it was just super easy, didn't even need to coordinate anything with anybody. But when it comes to coordinated stuff, there's still some slipping going on as it goes up to 2K rating. And then I started realizing that it's not always in a vacuum. I'm not the only person who's contributing to getting to this rating. Granted, I'm sure if I was a Gladiator player, I could help 2 other people reach much higher rating, but I'm not that kind of player, and I do need other people's help to win. So I recognize that it's not always just me, so that's why I can sit and look at things that I can improve by myself. One of the things is pretty evident of how I could just dominate the bracket is this 1v2 that I had versus a Frost DK and a Feral. Granted, the Feral had lost most of his defenses. I think both of his survival instincts had run out by this point. But it just kind of goes to show that even in a small duration match, 2 DPS can't take out 1. Even though I'm a Hunty Huntard, they couldn't finish the job. Another thing that I've also been noticing is that one thing that you need to do as a hunter to improve your arena is really just develop that counter-shotting ability, especially when it's like, okay, well, you don't have cooldowns and you can't set up CC right now, so right now what you need to do is mitigate damage. And one thing that I've been really getting better at is watching for a deep freeze on my healer and then countering the polymorph that comes after it. So God comp is really common comp, as is RMD, which is Rogue Mage Druid. God comp, if you don't know, is Shadow Priest, Frost Mage, and in this current game, Paladin, Healing Paladin, Holy Paladin. And the way they set up is by typically deep freezing your healer, and then out comes the polymorph or the Ring of Frost, whatever. And one thing that I've been really good at getting under is, let's say we're going for a Shadow Priest and I'm focusing on the Paladin, I can still watch for the polymorph and kick him using an Arena 1-2-3 macro, and I can show that footage of this one game where I had where I was doing that so perfectly. I felt really good about that game. But it turned out the reason why we ended up losing was because frankly our Feral's just taking way too much damage, and after kicking a polymorph, the healer that I was playing with is in line and gets immediately polymorphed out in the open. So that's, that's kind of another thing, is even though I might be playing really well one match, that might not be a good match for my teammates. But that's something that I've really been improving on as a hunter. Another thing too is being able to get my own traps. Getting your own traps is super important, because if you can get your own traps, that frees up CC that some of your partner has for somebody else. And as you can see, like, I remember this one match that I had, and I can't remember what it was, maybe it's like TSG, but there was a Mistweaver Monk, and they are really rough to trap head on, because if they see you coming, they can roll away, they can sap you and roll, they can sap you and leg sweep you, they can do their little transfer, which means they just kind of like warp to another place. So sometimes they can be really tricky. So what I did was I used my narrow escape, disengaged right into a trap, and it worked beautifully, and I was really proud of that moment, because it just signified to me how much I'm improving as somebody who can land traps really fast. So looking forward, what I'm trying to play is a comp called KFC. So instead of KFC, which is a warrior and a hunter, this is a hunter and a Windwalker monk with a healer. Preferably, we'd like a Resto Druid, but we've been having trouble finding those. But KFC is the comp that I want to play, and the reason why is because not a lot of people play it. You don't really see KFC being queued up very often, and it's really fun. When we do have that synergy going, we can literally 100-0 some people, and it's really fun. So I'm going to be anticipating that I should be able to really start upping my ratings soon, especially when it comes to making sure that we land our CC really well. One thing that's also been improving of mine is using Wyvern Sting in mix with my trap, and that sometimes is really just a few seconds, or not even a few seconds, but a few micro, like just milliseconds of me thinking in that period of time, okay, this guy CC'd. If I throw out a Wyvern onto an off DPS, so let's say the healer CC'd, I could throw a Wyvern onto the other DPS and then trap the healer as the CC's wearing off. So we're effectively creating 3 versus 1 situations, which is really optimal, or 3 versus 0 if they're also controlled. So if we're 3 people banging in onto one guy, that's gonna be a lot better for us. That's really what separates higher rated players from lower rated players, is those abilities, the ability to create those opportunities of literally just 3v1 and just dumping cooldowns into that one person, forcing them to have to use some sort of cooldown to survive if they can survive. So that's what really been about. So that's just some footage from my arena lately. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys think it's a good idea that I'm posting out even some of my poor performances, I think it's fine because I can't always play perfectly. So be on the lookout. I'm still excited. I'm still wanting to push. Every time I get on, I want to be able to push some arena. So all right, guys, that's my entire video, and I will see you next time.